Hi, my name is Galina Lipina, and I help people create harmony with themselves and their relationships and reach their goals with ease and flow. And today I'm going to talk about meditation and what can you do to slow down your brain. If your brain is not well, if you cannot focus, if you're jumping from one thing to another thing, if your life has a lot of stress and you feel like you don't even have time to breathe and take a break, that's specifically when you need to attend to your inner state. Why? Because when we are in that state where we can't focus, it's also called the stress state. You can't focus, you become overly analytical, you jump from one thing to another, and you can't really attend to anything. You can't really come up with any creative ideas or think of something new. So you're spinning the wheels. You know, we all have been in that state one time or another. And it's really hard to change in that state because our brain is in the state of survival. And in the state of survival, we're wired to do three things: fight, flight, or freeze, or hide. And with that state, it's impossible to do anything and it's possible to change. So the first thing we can do is to change that state. There's two things that is connected to that state. It's what's going on in our heart and what's going on in our brain. And all of that is connected to our nervous system. So our brain is in that state that's called high beta brainwaves. And that's the stress state. And usually when we are in that state, our heart is also has incoherent heart patterns, which usually correlates with emotions that we call negative, which is anger, resentment, fear, anxiety, worry. We have all different flavors of our favorite emotions. So what can we do if we notice that we're not in the state that we prefer and it's not helping us create what we want to create within ourselves or in our life? We can slow down our brain waves. So there are many practices. Meditation is one of the best ones that allow you to slow down your brain waves from beta to alpha, which is a light meditative state, and then if you meditate more to theta, which is deep meditative state. And when you slow down your brain, that's when you come out of that state of imbalance. And usually when you slow down your brain waves through meditation, you also not just slow them down, but you also create coherence. What is coherence? There's coherence in the brain. That's when all the parts of your brain work in harmony. And there's also coherence in the heart. How do we know if we're coherent? When we are experiencing positive emotions, peace, joy, love, harmony, all of that correlate with coherent heart patterns. And when our heart is coherent, our brain becomes coherent. So you can go at it from two different directions. What's one thing you can do? To slow down your brain waves, you meditate. There's many different ways of meditation. There's many traditions where you sit down and you close your eyes, and there are different practices that you do to get into that state. There's also walking meditation. That's when you are in that state, but you're actually moving through space. That allows you to practice that state even in life. So you don't just go into that state when you close your eyes, you can maintain that state with your eyes open. There's also many other activities that I have done that I also realized get me to the same state that meditation does. Dancing. There's specific types of dancing. For me, it's kizomba that get me to that meditative state. You know, that state when time stands still and I just dissolve in space and I don't even feel my body, even though my body is moving through the dance. So for me, out of all the dances and the partner dances that I have personally tried, Kizomba is the best for me to get into that state. Many people get into that flow state in other types of dancing as well. There's definitely some magic to movement and music that allows you to get to that harmonious state. Also, when I journal, there is an exercise called morning pages, had been created very long time ago, that you just write down everything that comes to your head. Everything that comes in your mind, emotions, all the thoughts, you just write it all down. That also requires presence for you to be actually present with your thoughts and your feelings and observe them, which is the act of meditation, is to become an observer, to become familiar with. So for me, when I journal, it's also a type of meditation. Also, I realized that conscious communication practice with another human can also be a meditative experience. For example, I had an experience recently when we had an exercise where I had to just voice everything that comes into my mind. and share it with another human, and they would do the same, and we just share what comes up in the present moment. That also requires awareness, that also requires consciousness. And to me, I realized it was very, very similar to meditation, except it involved another human, and it involved words. So it was a very interesting experience. So when you want to get to that inner state of harmony, you can start from your brain or you can start from your heart. From your brain, that's the meditation practice. It's just slowing down your brain waves. One of the processes that research shows that help you slow down your brain waves, and I personally experienced it many times, is shifting your focus from a close focus and narrow focus to the open focus. So instead of focusing on specific problems, specific objects in your space, you actually focus on space. We all know that it works because remember last time you went to vacation on the beach and you notice that you lay on the beach and you stare in this like vast sky, and all of a sudden like stress washes over you and leaves your body, and then you feel that peace and you feel alive and you feel present. That's, well, many reasons: water and rest and not doing anything, but open focus is one of the components. But you can also use that knowledge about open focus helping to slow down brainwaves when you're in a closed environment. You can do it in your office, you can do it in your room, you can focus on the space around you. You can also close your eyes and focus on space. I very often focus myself floating in space with my eyes closed, and that allows me to slow down my mind chatter. Another way to go at creating that inner space of harmony is from your heart. And that's where the HeartMath Institute comes into play. HeartMath Institute has spent more than 20 years designing and developing the techniques and the tools to measure your heart coherence and then to also improve your heart coherence in the smallest periods of time. And what they found is slowing down your breathing is one thing that helps because that activates parasympathetic nervous system that aligns with the states of positive emotions such as peace, relaxation, love, trust, joy, excitement. All of that correlates with coherent heart patterns. And the stress is what correlates with the negative emotions: fear, anxiety, worry. We all talked about that. So HeartMath heart practices focus on slowing down your heart rate by just slowing down your breathing. So it activates your nervous system, that's parasympathetic nervous system, and it also brings your heart into coherence. And it can be measured in real time, and there are devices that you can get to do that. And then another component that they found in their research is that focusing on positive emotions also helps you get into coherence. So slowing down your breathing and focusing on something that you love or you appreciate or you're grateful for allows your heart to become coherent. And when your heart becomes coherent, your brain becomes coherent. And now you're out of the rat race. You're out of that spinning the wheel state, and you can actually be present and attend to what's needed in the moment. So if you like that video, please like, share with your friends, subscribe, and I will see you soon.